Well, hey there. I am doing something very, very new. And for any of you who are out there this afternoon in the midst of what all we are going through, thank you so much for hanging out today. I'm doing a Facebook Live and it's solo, and it's something, as you probably know, is a bit uncomfortable for me. I've always worked in a team, whether I was on the air or in a studio or in podcasts. But now that we're in this time of social distancing, I am alone and I'm ready to make the best of it. And I have to tell you, it's taken me a bit of time to get my voice back. The virus basically silenced me. Now, I don't mean I got sick, because I didn't, but I didn't know where to start. I felt paralyzed. I felt like there wasn't anything I could do. So I would keep to the things I did know, keep coaching sessions, keep communication like that alive. But personally, I felt like I was drying up. So yesterday, I finally decided to stop and write, because writing has been something that has saved my life for many years, and it has saved my life in many times. And by just taking that step of writing yesterday, it was as if I lost a cork, something just like unplugged, and everything started gushing out, whether it was emotions, whether it was confidence. All of these things started coming through because I know what it means to live with uncertainty. It is very, very uncomfortable. So here I am, and I'd really like to share with anyone who also wants to be freed from frustration and uncertainty, a post that I shared today on Medium. And I want to kind of go through it because I think this is one of the things that is helping me come through, and I hope it will help you as well. And Karen, love you, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here from Las Vegas, and I know it's not easy there as well. You know, I wrote this article called "There's No Template for the Coronavirus Pandemic," and basically it's 8 ways to cope with these uncertain times. So we're all going through this, and sometimes we think we are the only ones that are facing this, but other people are facing it in different ways. You know, the uncertainty can take a lot of shapes. Some people are angry, some people are frustrated, some people are bad. Some people become vindictive during this time. There's absolutely no question. You know, you might be angry because you can't attend your place of worship anymore because you have to do it in a virtual setting. I may be frustrated that I can't go to the botanic gardens. Your kids can't go to the zoo. They can't even go to school. You may not be working. You may have lost your job. I mean, we're really facing a lot of uncertainty, and there is no template. There's no roadmap. So every day it seems like we're getting new information telling us what to do, where to turn, how to live, how to function, and we have to cancel or reschedule or change it up or stay home, which is where I am right now. Everything does seem out of control, doesn't it? So while you can't stop the coronavirus in its tracks, what I'd like to do is offer you 8 ways that, for me, I'm finding a way to cope with the uncertainty that's going on. And the first thing I've done is to curb my news intake. I know anybody who's known me knows how much I love the news. I am pretty much addicted and tethered to all sorts of news. I'm a news junkie. I've worked in news and I love that industry. But I find that when I leave it on all the time, it takes a toll. So here is a suggestion that was given to me from some other people in another crisis that we were facing, and that was, what, Lois, would you do if you decided to pick 3 times a day where you would tune in, you would read, you would listen, you would watch, whatever it took? So I have chosen 3 times a day where I ingest news freely. I don't feel badly about it. There aren't any apologies. I'm just going with it. And that is what I do so that I can stay calm. So I pick that time. It's morning for me. It'll be right after I chat with you today in the noon hour, and then it'll be in the evening. And then I keep it off as best as I can. You know, I think I worry, what if something comes up and I'm not ready? Well, guess what? I will be ready, because the news will be there for me and I will be able to adjust. So that's my first suggestion about curbing your news intake. The second one is the one that we're talking about all the time now, and it's about our hands and washing them. You know, I've always washed my hands. I've always thought I'm a really clean person. I have kids around the house. My parents used to live in this space in which we are right now. So washing my hands has been a big deal. Never before have I washed my hands as much as I'm washing them now? And I feel it's so important to stay clean like this. And I've noticed that it's made a difference. I mean, we don't go anywhere, riding a bike, going to the store, walking out front, being with the dogs. I'm making an effort because this virus has gotten us to a place where we're going, you know, if this is partially how it's spreading or mostly how it's spreading from what we are understanding from all of the experts, then why not? Now, I keep lotion because I live in Colorado and I've gotten so dry, but if you have a chance to fill up that soap canister, I encourage you to do so. And, you know, I sing a lot of songs while I do it, and I know we've heard of Happy Birthday. I added a couple of things to the post I wrote today. The Itsy Bitsy Spider worked really well because I noticed that the grandkids really liked that one. And then I heard a post this weekend from one of our pastors who decided as the benediction to move her hands together reciting the 23rd Psalm. I thought that was very clever. So whatever it takes, please wash, scrub for 20 seconds every single time. Avoid sick people. You know, one of my sons came over and he was hacking. So we kind of have this, a larger than 6-foot berth around him. And he knows now that he has to have certain things that are near him that can be sprayed down immediately. You know, before, I think I always treated colds like, oh, it's no big deal. Just, you know, spray all over me, sneeze anywhere you want. And I think this is one of the first times in my life that I've said, no, you know what? I am not going to make any apologies or make any excuses for wanting to stay healthy so that I can be of good health to others. And, you know, we are in contact with people in our lives everywhere where we could endanger them by not taking care of ourselves. So that's what I needed to feel for myself. And so I am making much more sure that if I see someone is sick, that I am kind of steering clear and giving them their space, and more importantly, giving myself my space. So these are part of the 8 ideas for coping that I am sharing with you right now. The next one is to get your work done. And I've become a huge fan of Zoom. I work from home, and this is my little home office here, and I go online to Zoom every single day. By the way, if you've never done it, zoom.com. It is so easy. It is free. I so urge you and encourage you to get online and get an account, free or paid, because it makes a difference in how you can communicate with people. But I know that when I was feeling really uncertain a few days ago, it was taking everything I had to just have that energy while I was relating to people. So find a way to do your work. As you do it, you become stronger. These are one of the coping skills that I've really discovered. Write if you need to, communicate, get on a call with somebody. Email, Slack, whatever it is you need to do with the people that are close to you, that are in your work environment, use that, and don't be afraid of that. Expand your virtual world. If you have a coffee that is scheduled to be with somebody, because we can't go have coffee anymore, and if you don't want them in your house, the best other way to do it is to literally sit down with them. And here's my cup of tea for this afternoon. And thank you to all of my Danish family who keeps me completely engaged with all of my wonderful Danish cups and all of those things for tea. So just a second. So seriously, that's how you can have a cup of coffee with somebody and enjoy yourself. One of the biggest things I've had to do is create new routines. And that is where my life is changing dramatically. Although I will tell you, the first hour of the day, our dogs wake up. They have no idea something's different, right? They're outside the door. We get up. My husband and I, we make sure they get fed, and then we take them on a walk. No difference for them. And you know what? No difference for us. When we come back in the house, we sit down together. I have we have our coffee, we eat together, we read Richard Rohr every morning. I mean, just a shout out to the Center for Action and Contemplation. This has been really grounding for something to read every single morning. It's really short, so it's easy to do. Then I jump for a few minutes, 5 to 6 minutes in my house with a jump rope in the dining room. And my husband, Art, goes out and runs. So far, routine is pretty much the same. It's after that that it changes, because I've been working from home for quite some time now. My husband has not. So he is in the house, in the same house with me. And, you know, that's kind of different when you've never worked together. So what we've started to do is have different places in the house that we are working solo. And I have a headphone, as does he. So we are in different places and can do our work, but we have calendars, so we can schedule our calls, schedule our time. And for the first time in 8 years of marriage, we are actually sitting together during the noon hour and can actually plan an engagement to do in the afternoon, which we, by the way, have never done before. It's new, it's a new routine. But what we're doing is creating a routine so it doesn't feel like we're losing our entire day. I think that's what happens right now. When we get frustrated and nervous and angry about what's going on around us, it's because we feel like there's no scheduling. So we're putting everything into place as to how important that is for a new routine. And then I'm managing my downtime. Because I'm at home, and many of you are right now, what do we do besides Netflix, right? I mean, you get kind of bored. So I'm going to just point something out. So these doors back here, when I was trying to figure out what to do last week, I painted them. They were white, and I used this thing called milk paint. And I went to the store before everything is going to close down, and I bought some more milk paint, and I'm going to paint every other door in the basement down here because that will give me something to do in my downtime. I also love plants and flowers and herbs and whatever you have. So I also went and got seeds. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to take you upstairs, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to plant seeds, because I think from seed to seedling, between 6 and 8 weeks, as we are going through this progression of the coronavirus, the pandemic, the spread, who knows where we'll be in 6 to 8 weeks, but I can actually watch it with a seedling growing. And by the way, if you live close here in the Denver metro area, I have so many seeds that I'm going to plant, and so many little things that I'm probably going to need to give them away. So just a heads up if you're around. Stay connected with your loved ones. I have found that it is so helpful to be able to go on FaceTime, to be able to go on Zoom for work, but to keep connected with the people that mean something to me and that I love and that I cherish. This basement down here used to be where my parents lived for years. And when we started redoing it and painting and adding things, I would send pictures to my Aunt Marie, who's in Chicago. And she's not on this Facebook Live. I'll send this to her afterwards. I'll make her watch this, and she'll tell me what I can do differently, because what she always does when she sees my images is says, oh, Lois, you could put a plant over here, or you could add something here. And I follow those instructions. So this is a time, because we are alone, that if you want to share things with people that you really care about, send them an image if you don't feel comfortable doing a FaceTime. But that connectivity that I'm learning is so important, to stay connected and stay present with the people that you care about on social media, if that works for you. Sometimes social media can also create a lot of angst. And finally, of the 8 things that I suggested in this article that I posted today on Medium, was do something for someone else. And this is a mantra that I got from my mother throughout my whole life, which was, if there's any, and if she was alive, she would actually share this right now. If there's anything going on, think of what you can do for someone else. Sorry, goodness gracious. It's enough that I work with her, floating around here a lot, but it's really, really true. So we have some neighbors who are a little older, and I remember when this started happening, I texted them and I said, would you like me to just pick up some groceries? Those are things we can do that don't have us encounter people. There are Metro Caring here in the Denver metro area is fabulous. Donate. A homeless shelter that you have been neglecting to either attend or help out with, call them up and find out, do they need funds for XYZ? Do they need extra whatever? Find something that you can do for someone else, because I do notice that if the focus is only on myself, I will stop, because, we get discouraged. Someone said to me the other day, oh, the calls are just coming in for all of these resources. Well, maybe they are for you. But for a lot of us, we're sitting here waiting and trying to figure out what that next thing is going to be. It's a lot to have so many cancellations on our plate. I mean, maybe your son or daughter was going to graduate. Maybe your son or daughter had to come back from college and they don't get to go back. Maybe your grandkids or your kids are home from school and you don't know when they're going to go back to school. There's so much uncertainty out there. So if you can find a way to coordinate, to see, walk a neighbor's dog, engage in something that has nothing to do with you, and you find that is really something amazingly positive. And the reason I wrote this, by the way, in order to unplug and to release, was to remind myself and to remind you and anybody who cares that you do have control over some things. And I think we often feel that in a time like this that we have absolutely no control. And if we pick little tiny things that we can work on, even if it's the tiniest bit of control that we have gotten back, we feel stronger. And we can be stronger for our kids. We can be stronger for our partner. We can be stronger for anybody that's in our lives and the people with whom we interact. So for today, there is no template. We don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know exactly what the next step is going to be. So the good news about not having a template and this being uncharted territory is that whatever you do, who's to say what's right or wrong? And if you step into something and you realize, yeah, that's not working so well, then shift, then pivot. You know, when I coach, my first big question that I ask people is, what would bring you the most value in our time together? And so I'm hoping that on a really frequent basis that I am able to come back on Facebook Live. If there is something that would bring you value that you'd like to hear a bit more of, see a bit more of, I would really hope that you would share that with me. And tomorrow I'm actually going to take you upstairs to where I'm going to start my planting. It'll be a little dirtier with dirt, and I want you to see where the seeds go, and let's see how they grow in these next few weeks. So, and I want you to stay connected with the people that do support you. I was on a peer coaching call this morning, and that's the reason I'm doing this right now. Yeah, you can check out a really good friend of mine at drbcoach.com, and she just said, Lois, get out there, get your voice back out, and here I am. So I am so glad for the few of you who are on with me today, and I can see where you're from, and goodness gracious, I could just cry again. I think that's where we are, right? We're kind of all at this level. So be kind to the people around you, and a virtual hug to every single one of you. Mwah! See you tomorrow.